So this month's Campfire session is going to be on skills development planning. Um, so my name is Omar. I'm the senior customer success rep at Aprika. Um, and on today's agenda, we're going to be talking about how you can mass assign skills. We're going to be talking about some use cases for the skills development planning. We'll also be reviewing the skills matrix report, and then we can move on to a demo of each one of those features.
So mass assignment of skills. You've been able to assign skills to users by using the skill assignment object, but now we've added a functionality where you can mass assign skills to users, and there's two different ways you can go about this. So the first method you can, so the first way you go about doing that is you can assign a skill type, all skills that fall under a specific skill type, to a role from the role edit page. So any skills, for example, of certification type, they can be assigned to a specific role. The other method you can do is when you're creating a skill, there's this mass assign skills to roles a field that you can set to true. And when you do that, anybody that has another skill of the same type, they'll be assigned that skill. That'll be much more clear when we see the demo for it. And this is accessible on the role edit page and the skills edit page. Onto the use case for the skills development planning. So in mission control, we've covered off how skills are a very important part of mission control. We've covered off how you can create and assign skills to users. We've covered off how you can track financial information using skills, using the billable hourly rate and the cost hourly rate. We've also been able to filter resources using skills, and as well as in other different tools as well. So this feature, the skills development planning feature, it expands on skills by allowing you the option to track the development planning of individual resources. So it helps you conduct assessments of the skills that are assigned to a role on a regular basis. And these assessments, the aim is so that you can set different goals for the user to improve the proficiency level of a resource's skills. So the historical data from these assessments can be used to track these goals and see how far the role has come in terms of their proficiency in relation to those skills. So that's the skills development planning. We'll also review the skills matrix report. So it's a Salesforce report that you can access. And it provides you insight into the proficiency and the enjoyment factor of the skills that are assigned to different roles, and it helps you find the right resources if you're looking for resources through that report. So it's got conditional formatting, so it makes it easier to find the right resources based on different proficiency levels and the enjoyment factor. So all of that is taken into account. So let's move on to the demo. Okay, let's talk about the mass assignment of skills. So for mass assignment of skills, as I mentioned earlier, there's two ways you can do this, from the skills edit page or from the roles edit page. Let's talk about the skills edit page first. So if I'm on the launchpad, so I'm just going to create a new skill right now. So let's say the new certification that's coming for the Salesforce associate certification. So I'm going to need to create that and assign it to all the users that already have a skill type of certification. So I can select certification from here. I can say mass assign to roles, and I can click save. Now what that's going to do is go ahead and create skill assignments for anybody that already has a skill of type certification. So all these roles have that type skill certification for another skill maybe, and then that's why they've been assigned that. So you can also repeat this for existing skills. So as you can see, I've got 5 people assigned to the development skill here. And if I go ahead and mass assign to roles, click save. So anybody that has a skill type of skill, they're going to be assigned that skill. So as you can see, previously it was just 5, and now it's increased to 3 more people. So eight roles have been assigned the development skill. So that's how you can do the mass assignment when you're creating a new skill. Let's talk about how you can do it for a specific role. So over here, I've got a new, I'm creating a new role right now, and I go ahead and go onto the skill assignment section over here. When I'm on the skill assignment section, I can say, let's say I need to assign the language, any language skills that are there, I need to assign it to this user. and I can click assign. So I've only got English as one active language that has been assigned to this user. So if I repeat the same for certifications and click assign, so all certification skills that are there, those will be assigned to this user. And then I can go ahead and update the proficiency values, the enjoyment factor, and if I need to enter in any billable hourly rate or cost hourly rates. And then I can click save and those skill assignments will be created. So that's the mass assignment of skills. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the skills development planner. So you can access the skills development planner by going onto the role record. So the way you do this is you use the drop down menu here and use the development plan button. If you don't see this button here, you'll just need to add it to your page layout. So once you click into it over here, from here you're able to conduct new assessments for the skills of a role, or you can conduct or you can review existing ones and see historical data from the past ones. So the way to create a new one, you can click the new button and you can start filling out all the details. And if you've already worked on creating previous ones, you can click the load button and you'll see if you need to edit the existing ones, you can edit them from here. Let's say I'm going to be creating a new one and I need to copy it from the last development plan that I've done. So I click go from there and that's loaded in for me now. So I'm going to update this date to be 2023. I'm going to change the date to today. And from last year, I was the assessor for MIC. So I'm just going to leave that as is. So if I want to add more assessors, so you can add up to 3. And if I add more assessors, it's going to include more columns for those corresponding assessors. So let's say I'm just going to be assessing for MIC over here. So now I can use the expand and collapse buttons to just expand and collapse one of them. For the certification of, so I can see all the skills that are assigned to this role under each one of those types. So I've got admin under certification, I've got English under language, and I've got config, CSS, and training under skill. Let me just refresh this, make sure this error is not there. Roles, MIC. Clone 2022, go. Let's change to 2023 and set this date to today. Okay. You'll see that there are columns for enjoyment factor and the role rating. So this is picking up from the existing skill assignment, and this is what the user was initially assigned, or the last updated value that's that you see here. So for the role rating, this is what the role themselves. So Mick over here, this is what Mick would come to and he would update. So let's say this year he feels that he's improved his admin skills, admin certification skills. So he's gonna set that to 9 and he's actually enjoying that much more. And then he can add in roles in here. So he says, worked extensively on ADM and enjoyed it. And then the assessor can come in here and then they can update the corresponding value for their assessor column. So let's say I agree with Mick, and I'll put in 9 over here, and I'll say agreed. Save. Now you'll see here that there's an average rating column. So that's bringing the average from the role rating as well as all of the assessors. So that's coming up to 9. And if it rounds up the value. So if you've got 8 over here, that's gonna still round it up to 9 over here. So that's just an example. That's just a value for you to take into consideration. And the agreed rating is what the actual value will be once you save this development plan. So let's say the agreed rating was 9. You discuss this amongst the assessors as well as the role themselves, and you can set a value here. And then finally you've got a checkbox here which says apply skill to assignment, apply to skill assignment. So that's going to save this value on the skill assignment record. So initially we saw that the value was 8, and now it's been increased to 9. So once we save this development plan, we'll see the skill assignment value updated. So if you could add notes to the development plan regarding the skill if you want to from here, and you can repeat the steps for the other skills if you want to. So these sections are collapsible. So if you need to collapse individual ones, you can do that from here. And if you need to add new skills under any one of these types, you can click the plus icon to the corresponding section. So let's say I need to add a new skill under skill over here. and then I can set a new type here if I want to. I can look up an existing skill from here, and then set the enjoyment factor and proficiency for this role, and that's going to pop up over here, and then I can start adding values over there. So let's update some of these other values here. So let's say Arthur, sorry, I'm doing this from the perspective of Mick. So Mick says he actually doesn't enjoy config as much, and his role rating is going to stay the same, but his enjoyment factor is decreased. But instead for CSS, he's actually enjoying it more, and he's actually improved on it. So let's say I'm going to say that's 9. And then for training, he says that's increased as well, and he's increased his role rating as well. Now I come in, I'm the assessor, and I say yes, I agree. I agree that his CSS skills have increased, so I'm going to say that's 8. And I don't agree with his rating of training. I say that his rating is still 7 at this level right now, and then I can provide comments as to why, as to my reasoning, and then we have an average rating that I can use, and then I can increase the agreed rating to whatever the value that I feel is best. So in this case, I would say it's going to be 8 over here. I'm going to say it's 7 over here, so we can leave that as is. So once that's done, I can click save from here. And now the skill assignment values on the on Mix skill assignments will be updated. So as you can see, I've got some values over here. So now if I refresh here, we'll see some of those values have been updated. So now if I go into the Insights tab, so that was the Assessments tab. So the Insights tab is what you can access historical data from past assessments. So as you can see, I've got 5 different assessments that have been conducted for MIC over the years, and the 5 most recent ones have been added. So the 5 most recent ones are based on the review date that you can see here. So those 5 most recent ones will be added from there. But if you need to choose manually, if you need to select a different one, you can look that up over here, and then you'll be able to find it. So if 2023, go. Let me just refresh. There you go. Okay, so on the right, you've got a information in a bar chart, and you've also got the same information in a tabular form. So over here, you've got all your development plans. So you can either choose to group it by skill or by type. So right now, by default, it's grouped by different skills that the user has, or you can choose to change to type. For display, you can choose from a few different metrics. So you've got the enjoyment factor, you've got the role rating, you've got the average rating, and then you've got the agreed rating. So when you're using the type, it's going to group up, it's going to find the average of the value for that section. So if I click go now, so all the skills that fall under certification is going to find the average for that assessment, and then provide a value for it. And then you're going to see that value come across in the bar chart over here, and then you're going to see that value come across in the tabular form here as well. So that's how you can switch between the different values. If you need to see more information over there, you'll see that, for example, the config skill I've got from 2019 is actually improved. Similarly, he's improved in CSS skill just this year, and he's remained the same over the past few years. For training, he's actually improved over the last couple of years. He's kept on improving. Maybe I need to speak to him about the admin skill. He's remained 8 for the last couple of years. I need to speak to him why he's remained at that, or if there's something he needs to pursue to improve upon it further. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we can move to the next topic, which is the skills report. So the skills matrix report, you're able to access it from the reports tab. You can go into the reports tab and then go into all folders. You'll find it under the mission control reports folder. So just click into that. You'll find a bunch of reports here, but the one you're looking for is the skills matrix. So just click into that. So over here, you'll see all of the skills that are assigned to all of your roles. I've just filtered it to view of roles, so we can see all the skills on the left hand side. You'll see all the roles at the top, and under each role there's two separate columns, one which contains the proficiency value for that specific skill and the enjoyment factor for that corresponding skill. So for any skills that are not assigned to this user, you'll just you see 0 over there, and for skills that are assigned, you'll see the corresponding values from the skill assignment record. So when I click into it, you'll see the corresponding values at the bottom over here. So so there's conditional formatting that's being applied here, and you can choose to change that if you want to. So this is done by editing that report and clicking conditional formatting. So for the proficiency value, the default is that any value less than 3 displays a red background. Any value between 3 and 7 displays an orange background, and any value greater than 7 displays a green background. Similarly, for the enjoyment factor, the values are between 1 and 3. So anything less than 1 less than or equal to 1 is red, between 1 and 2 is orange, and greater than 2 is green. So that's the skills matrix report. It just provides you with insight into the proficiency and the enjoyment factor of each one of the roles. So let's say maybe you're looking for someone who needs to have a configuration skill, and you wouldn't want to pick Arthur in this instance because he might have a high proficiency on it, but he's got low enjoyment, so he might not enjoy it. He might not have the motivation to work on it. But instead, you might want to pick someone like Colin or Mick here. So I think the Colin would be the best fit in this case because he's got the highest enjoyment factor out of the 3, and he's got the highest proficiency value as well. So in this instance, I would pick Colin to do some configuration work that's just come in. Yeah, so that's the mass assignment of skills, the skills development planner, and the skills matrix report. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, we can end this session early. If you have any questions later on, you can reach out to us via support@aprica.com, or you can go to the support page listed here. We've got a very detailed user guide that you can review. We've got a lot of training videos. We've also got a strong knowledge base as well as a learning portal. Yeah, thank you for joining this session. We'll see you in the next one.